All right, welcome to the, I think, 40th episode of the Bloomers podcast. My name is Umar. I host this podcast. If you're new, I talk about mental health, life, pretty much, random stuff that I find interesting. So I hope if you plan to watch the entire video or just go through the timestamps, I hope I can earn your sub. And yeah, it's been a while since I've uploaded. I took basically the entire month of June off. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. Because this is how my channel operates, basically. It's just based on feeling. It's funny. But yeah, I just felt like I needed that. I needed that time off. And it's weird because I'm in a break and I'm supposed to be like, my excited, happy, enthusiastic self. But that's not always the case. And that's kind of what this video is about. It's just how things are. Like as a young person, I like to think, 20 years old, what is life like? Because I feel like my kids are gonna watch this video, or they will watch my videos, and I feel like some of them, I haven't exactly talked about what it's like to be young and like have these weird thoughts that later in life just get kind of solved, this nothing I'm talking about in here is just exclusive to young people, but it's like when you're younger, you have more of a exposure to these things, and literally, this is all I got. I don't know if you can see that. It's not focusing, I don't think, but literally 5 lines of literally just 5 topics. Like, it's not anything crazy. But yeah, like I said, I've been in a weird place emotionally. I feel like a lot of, what people say about life is like, everyone's always like, pursuit of happiness or whatever. And I don't know, I've been reading a lot of stuff about it, and apparently it's just like, there's a lot of, this is literally a trust me bro moment, but people are saying like, that's not worth it. And I'm starting to buy more into that as I grow up. What is happiness? It's a funny thing because I don't exactly know what it is, and I don't know how to sustain it. I don't know if it can be sustained. I don't even know if it's real. Actually, I know it's real because I've experienced it. See? Like, I don't know. But I was younger. I know, definitely like 18 years old and before. I definitely remember like happiness. Or maybe this is the cloudiness, of the past. It just gets all blurred and you remember all the good stuff, or sometimes the bad. But I don't know. It's really. I just feel like this is such a weird time for me and everyone I know who's my age. Because things like depression, sadness, feeling hopeless, impostor syndrome, all these things, right? They're there. And that's because the world is innately a bad place. And if you don't believe that, I don't know what kind of world you're living in. I want to live where you live. But that's how it is. And I've accepted that as an adult. That's something that I've realized now. But, life is all about joy, bringing joy and trying to make a difference in the world. Because we feel a responsibility to do that as people. And these things that try to bring us down, like the world it'll bring you down. If you can it's so easy to be depressed. I talk about this all the time on the channel, but it's easy to be depressed, it's easy to be sad. It's hard and it's difficult to bring joy into life and to make other people happy. And people who do that, we need more people like that. You need to praise them, you need to appreciate them. I try to do it so much, express it, tell people like, I appreciate that so much. We need more of that in the world. And that the more I think about that, the more it motivates me to try and talk to people and make a difference. It's a weird thing, and it's beautiful, but I don't know what happiness is, to be honest, anymore. I'm just kind of lost with it. I just want to feel joy in my life, and a lot of that comes through people, because it's just impossible to remove emotions from people. We can't remove our emotions from other people, and especially family and friends. and stuff like that. Another thing I wanted to talk about is how if you're grateful, you won't be depressed. That is something I learned this year so far. So I went on a trip to the UK in May, and you know how the UK is, right? It's like everything's super small, the streets are tiny, the houses are tiny, it's a dense population because it's a really big place, which is funny because the big and small comparison, whatever, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, so the houses are really small. So the place where we were staying at, it was extremely small. I live in like an 900 square foot apartment, and to be honest, I really despised it. This whole time I was really despising it because I've lived here almost a year. Our house is being built, so this is like a midpoint awkward stage. And when I went to London, I realized that I am living in a big place. Because the washrooms there are so tiny, for example, and like the bedrooms are small and everything is tiny. And I was just like, man, like, why have I not been thinking about this the entire time? And it's the whole thing that's like, you don't know what you have until it's gone. That's what it was. And it was such a blessing that I was able to experience that trip and have those thoughts. Because now I love this place. And I've been despising, because my old room that I used to record podcasts in was a great place. And I was always missing that. But then I realized, like, dude, this is so dope still. I'm so grateful to have a roof. Even, like, a roof over my head. Even though this isn't even my bed. It's not where I sleep. I sleep out in the den. We made a den in this apartment. That's where I sleep. But even still, like, I'm just... If you're grateful, there's a way lower chance that you will ever be hopeless or depressed. And it's just like... It's because... You can always do better. You can always, like, I don't know why, the way I'm talking, man, oh my god, it's crazy when I listen to myself, but there are certain things in life that you can strive for, and there's certain things that works really well for, like career. That can work well for career. But with things like love, if you keep striving for it and trying to get more and more and more, it's just like, dude, that's not ideal. And once you're grateful for what you already have, it just feels so much better. You're just accepting, and you just feel everything just feels warmer when you accept and when you be grateful for what you have. It's great. It's great. Yeah, gratitude, grateful. I don't know what my crazy 12:47 a.m. mind is thinking right now, but yeah, I don't know. I just, whether it's through a religious sense or just through a personal sense, find time in your day to be grateful for everything you've got. I think that really helps. It's definitely helped me. And that's something I've learned. It's just like people too. People. I'm so grateful for the people I have, and grateful that I even have this channel, and there's a group of people who are interested in watching me. Just so many different things to be grateful for. Grateful to even be alive, to have this breath right now. You know how lucky we are to be alive? We weren't alive X amount of years ago, but dude, it's just, I just feel so good right now just talking about it, just talking about gratefulness. It's awesome. Now, one other thing that I hate that people do our age, or my age, like, I don't know how old you are, is comparison. And I think it was Theodore Roosevelt. I can't ever remember who said it. Theodore Roosevelt said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And man, that is just spot on. If you've ever had your parents compare you to another kid, it is the most, like, disgusting feeling ever. And my parents used to do that, and then slowly we started to realize that this was a toxic thing, and they stopped. They haven't done it for like 7 years now. But not only with like comparing your parents comparing, you to someone else, don't compare yourself to other people. And this goes back to what I just said. You can always do better. And if you're not grateful for what you have right now with yourself, despite all the negative stuff, because we all have negative stuff and people love to bash themselves and whatnot, but comparing yourself, you will never be happy if you're just going to compare yourself to another person. It's like, the way I see it is I would never want to be somebody else. And the reason why is because there's so many things that I excel at, and there are so many things that I suck at. The same thing applies to everyone else in the world. And it's like, okay, I might excel at this. I might excel at podcasting. And then I suck at, what do I suck at? Okay, I suck at... I can't think of it right now. I suck at a lot of things. What do I suck at? Okay, I suck at painting, right? But I can't look at it like that. I have to look at it like, okay, I'm good at a lot of things, and I suck at a lot of things. So does someone else. So if I were to be someone else, it would be equal. I would have something else that I excel at, something else that I don't. So anytime someone's ever like accomplished something or told me something great, subordinate those jealousy feelings, those comparison feelings of me versus them, and just it's been a lesson to just genuinely be happy for that person, unless they're a bad person, because people's nature doesn't change, and you gotta stay away from bad people like that. But I don't know, I just feel like we compare ourselves way too much in the world, and as young people, it's important to live your own life. And when you compare yourself and you're striving to be someone else, it just doesn't work. You will not be satisfied with yourself. Or screw satisfaction. You won't be content, happy, dare I say. Because I don't know what happiness is, to be honest. It's crazy. If you've been listening this whole time, I don't know what happiness is, man. I really don't. The next thing I want to talk about is the subtle art of not caring. The subtle art of not giving an F. I don't want to cuss, but that book is amazing, by Mark Manson. Read that book for sure if you're into self-help books and whatnot. I learned this year that when I don't care, I do a lot better. Like, I'll give you some examples, alright? So, in the fall, which was the worst time of my life, you can go watch my videos from that time as well. They did great because I was so sad with myself. And I would just talk about things because that was the joy I had. Anyways, in that time, I didn't have the best GPA. My GPA dropped quite a bit. It didn't go to the point where I was, gonna fail school, but it was lower than first year, which was a lot higher. And I was really happy with my first year GPA. So anyways, in the fall, it went like really down. And then I always had the mentality of I need to get good grades. When I'm doing an exam, it's like, okay, I gotta get an A, which obviously everyone strives for. But then in the winter, I changed that up. I was just like, let me just change up the mentality. I still studied and everything, but my mentality was just like, okay, it's not about a good grade. It's just about studying hard, knowing all the content, and just doing the test. And when I stopped caring about that grade, I started getting better grades. It was really weird. I don't know if that was just a one semester thing. Maybe I had my good luck underwear on or something. I don't know. That was something that was really cool too. And then, another thing is when I don't care, I feel like I can just be a better person. Like right now, I say this a lot and it feels like I'm bragging when I say it, But with podcasting and talking like this, I expose a lot of my life to a public audience of random people who can watch my stuff. Anyone who knows my first and last name can find this channel, and they can basically stalk my whole life. Which one of the objectives of the channel that when I first made it was to be open like that, because I think that it's a strength, and I think that that really helps people in the end. But anyways, not caring about like the outcome of that, because despite the fact that like I'm not talking about like super personal stuff here, this is like stuff that I would talk to with a friend. Not caring about that, like what people are gonna think about it, was one of the most, I think that was the most freedomy feeling I've ever had. And so many people, like, this is all about what you dedicate your headspace to. If you can take whatever you've dedicated your headspace to and just relinquish yourself of that, just stop giving it that power. When you stop giving things power, it feels so good. Like if you've ever had someone say something really mean to you to your face, you give definition to the words. If you don't give it the power, if someone starts swearing at you in, I don't know, Chinese or Hindi or Urdu or something, and you don't speak the language, you're not going to be offended. But when you do understand the language, you will be offended. You know? I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but you give meaning to things. So in the same way, whatever it is that you right now, every day, are focusing on, just keeping and letting that one thing stress you out or make you anxious, learn to let it go. And it's literally as simple as being aware. When I became aware that I was giving certain things headspace, I learned to just not give it that headspace. Obviously there's context to that, which is like, okay, if something really bad happened, let's say, or bad, all right, my next video is about this, but let's say your significant other breaks up with you. That's what my next video is about. But the perceived thing is like, oh, this is bad, and especially if you've had feelings for them, you're going to be sad. And there's a recovery time that needs to take place. It's not just an immediate, okay, done, we don't care. No, that's not how it is. There's a recovery time, and there has to be a healing process. So with those things, no. But I'm talking about like what I just said about the grades. That's something that you can go, boom, change, and now we're smooth sailing. So it's actually literally just a flip of a switch, and you can live life so much better. And the thing with not caring about what people think is also a flip of the switch. It's so easy. And it's like, I feel like sometimes especially with people that I've known for a little bit, I feel like I tend to get over enthusiastic, and like I say too much and I do too much, to the point where I'm gonna be, or I feel like I've overdone it and spilled my guts out too much, because I really used to care about like how people would perceive me after I leave the room, or like I would always think like, what are people gonna say behind my back about me? But screw that. Literally, like, I am giving it the power that it doesn't even need, and I'm giving it the power to let it affect me. But it's as simple as just taking it away. And that is something that I feel like so many people don't get. And it's the most annoying thing when I hear someone say, I had someone tell me, oh, I'm afraid of the judgment of XYZ. I don't want to expose that person right now, but it was like a really good thing that they weren't doing for themselves because of they were fearing judgment. And I don't know. I don't know the full extent of I don't know them that well, but I was just like, come on, like you are actively preventing yourself from doing something good just out of fear of being judged. And that just made me kind of that made me grateful for my own thinking. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you gotta be selfish like that and think like, damn, like I see this person doing something bad, but I don't do that. It's a bad, that kind of is a bad thing, but it's also good because you realize what you're doing right. But the reverse also has to apply, which this is my next point, is you gotta also be understanding of other people's situations, which I feel like was something that I didn't realize it until someone told me, but I had a deep conversation with someone who's really close with me about this, and they were telling me like, and I really appreciated it, and I loved them. They told me all the mistakes I was making and how judgmental I was being of others. And this year has also been an experience with that, because when I was growing up, and until about literally this year, I kind of imagined that everyone had the same experiences as me, and like same type of family, you know. Like for example, I make my own money. You know, I've made enough money to cover my university tuition, right? Up until this, so my first 2 years, I've made enough money to cover that on my own. That's what I did. And my parents will help me. But I used to think that was just like something normal. And I know that sounds really dumb. Like, how could you not know that? But I felt like most people who were like me, most of my friends, they had a similar situation, but I was wrong. And there was something really naive about the way I perceived or thought about everyone else. That it was like, all right, everyone has similar experiences to me. Everyone has the, you know, nice family, nice fun things. I don't know. I felt like it was mostly to do with money. I just felt like I didn't know about all the crazy stuff. Because I had one friend who, you know, he's a really good guy. He asked me for gas money once, and I was like, because I don't do that with my friends. But when he asked me for gas money, I was like, what? Like we just don't do this. Like I would just drive you next time wherever we go. But then I thought about it now. That was years ago, but I thought about it now, and it's like, I have no idea what this dude's financial situation is like. Like, what if that was so judgmental of me? And then like now looking back, it's like, yeah, I'd give you gas money because, like, if you ask for it like that, like you go so low as to ask that, like, and not low, like, you know, you kind of embarrass yourself doing it. But now if that happened, I would talk to him and be like, you know, like, oh, you know, I can give you a ride next time, or if you want the money, like, just let me know, whatever you want, whatever works best. You know, I just feel like I would handle it a lot better. And one last thing, which is not even on this little book here that I want to talk about, is not letting others violate you and like take advantage of you, and having some self-respect. That is something that I also started to learn this year, is standing up for myself. So I'll explain it like this. I was on vacation with my friends last month, and you know, I love all these guys. They're great. I love them. But there's a certain activity that they like to do. It's nothing bad. A lot of people do this. There's just a certain thing that they like to do occasionally that I don't like, and I'm uncomfortable with. And it's so uncomfortable that I've never done it in my entire life, always avoided it. It's not harmful, it's not bad, it's just something that I don't enjoy. So when we were on the vacation, I'm trying to carefully say this so I don't expose anyone. But there was a point where I was in a position that I was feeling the pressure of them, you know, kind of like saying like, hey, come on, yo, come on, try it, come here, like, you know. But then I realized, like, I can't compromise my values and my self for them. I can't do this for them. I need to do what's best for me. And that was selfish, but it was also necessary. So I told them, and they kept on pressing and trying to get it out of me. But I had to stand up for myself there. And that was a really a defining moment. But I did it in a respectful way, and they respected it too after. And we were all good, and everyone was happy. So it's all about, like, just don't, because when I was younger, when I was, let's say like 2 years ago, even last year, I just kind of let myself please other people without giving myself that respect that I need. And it applies to other things like relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships, anything that involves other people that you're kind of close with. You gotta stand up for yourself and your values if they are somehow different than the other parties. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. That was fun. That was really fun. And I'm really glad that I'm doing this at 1 a.m. when I have work tomorrow morning. But, man, I just... it's a great feeling to do this. And I know there's a group of people out here that love or a group of people, like friends, some acquaintances, who like watching my videos when I ramble on about random stuff instead of having a fixed topic. This was mostly a random general video. So I know there's a group of people who like to watch these videos or listen to them. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. I am going to start uploading more. I really needed to see what I was missing out on and appreciate what I have. Because the absence creates appreciation for things. And I feel like I just needed to take a little break. But now I guess we'll be back for the summer time, and I'll have some guests on and stuff, and some solo videos. It should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. I hope you're doing good, and take care. See ya.